Hey, Shalom. Call halal Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Baha, Raha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to you, Akim, pushing this word, the truth and sincerity. The Samathi from the GMS Dallas camp. And wanted to go into this video here. Um, Lord willing, this will be edifying. This is going into the debt ceiling. All right. Uh, this is the debt ceiling explained. Uh, why why you why you should care. And I'm gonna just get right into it, all right? Because I want to see how the Lord has showed that He have raised Esau up so high to bring him down so low and so fast. So this is coming, all right? This is Isaiah 14, and I'm gonna start at verse 11. It says, "All they that speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?" And this is the other nations. And they see that Esau is tumbling. All right. And the Lord have allowed him to show his wickedness, and he went up to raise up to heaven. And what's going to happen? He's going to bring him down like lightning, which we're going to get to. But let's go ahead and get this. Watch this video here. Lord willing, this be edifying.
The federal debt ceiling. It's a looming catastrophe. It's a bargaining lever. It's a crisis averted. It seems like a never-ending cycle. So what is the federal debt ceiling anyway, and why should you care about it? Let's start with how it works. The government spends more money than it takes in. It's done this off and on since the country was founded. But now it's doing it more than ever. In each of the past 4 years, it has spent over $1 trillion more than it took in. In February of this year, it is projected to collect about $215 billion in revenues and pay out $460 billion. The government borrows to make up the difference by selling bonds to investors around the world. Nearly half of that debt is now held by foreigners, much of it by Japan and China. Each month that the government spends more than it brings in, that is, each month that the government runs a deficit, it has to borrow. The sum of all this borrowing is the federal debt. It's been growing, both in dollars and measured against the size of the economy. Until World War I, Congress had to vote each time the Treasury needed to borrow money. To give the Treasury more flexibility, Congress switched to setting a ceiling on the debt in 1917. When the debt bumps up against that limit, Congress, often with a lot of shouting and bargaining, votes to lift the ceiling. And that is where we are now. The government hit the $16.4 trillion federal debt ceiling on December 31st, so Congress suspended the ceiling, allowing the Treasury to borrow what it needs, but only through May 19th. Well, you have to understand the debt ceiling is a strange thing. First, Congress votes to spend money the government doesn't have. Then it votes a second time to allow Treasury to borrow that money so it can spend. Refusing to raise the debt ceiling does not cut spending. It's like refusing to pay a credit card bill for stuff you've already bought. But because failure to raise the debt limit could be so devastating, Congress often does use it to force the president to do things he's reluctant to do. Nobody really knows. The Treasury hasn't been in precisely this position before. But here are some rough guesses. When the Treasury faced similar circumstances back in 2011, it contemplated paying as many bills as it could each day with the cash it had on hand, delaying payment on the rest. Bills would be paid basically in the order in which they arrived. The longer the delay in raising the debt ceiling, the more bills would pile up. Physicians who rely on Medicare payments to make payroll, seniors who pay rent with Social Security benefits, or soldiers waiting for paychecks would be forced to make do without their money for some time.
And now they're saying that you have to ask for that. Everybody need work, and they need more people to come work coming back to work. But look, we don't have the money to pay them. So you're going to be working, and now you're going to have these people that's supposed to be the military is supposed to be protecting your borders. You're going to have the doctors and these different people in the Medicare field. What's going to happen? They're going to be not working. But what's happening now? They're having them to quit because of this damn BS. There's this mandate that they're setting off that you got to have this jab in your arm to actually move forward with your occupation. Now you got lack of people working, but now they say, hey, well, we really don't need all this money because nobody's working. If you do come back to work, you're not gonna hardly get paid. It's over for this place. This is James 5:1. Go now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. And the misery is going to come upon the men, these elites. It's now before it gets there, you see what's happening now. It's going to be a cry in the streets. It's going to be an abundance of people that's going to not have jobs. Okay, it's not going to have food. All right, not going to have a place to live. All this is coming. All right. Make do without. You see what's on the screen. This was in 2011. Look how the time has built up, and from 10 years ago. And Esau, they at least think they're going to feel their belly, but then all of a sudden, it's going to be a collapse. And like I said, you're going to still have rich men that's going to be howling. All right, thinking these people that got money. Look at these rappers and different things. They finna these rappers, these actors. Okay, these ball players. You see what they're doing now, putting the strain on them now. And now look what they're trying to do. There's basically we've been saying it, and you can see it. You don't have to be in the truth to see it. How much can you borrow and take till you hit to a point where you say you gotta enough is enough, and the Lord is causing this to happen for it can be division amongst the people. Okay, it's going to be riots. It's going to be hell in the streets. All right, this is just a little bit of what's going to happen. As a whole. Verse 2, James 5:2, your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth eaten. All right. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. And that's where I wanted to get to. Esau has heaped up his treasures for the last days. And now they're thinking that they're going to make money. And I'm talking about these elites off what's coming with war and killing off billions of people. But the Lord is going to come and stop that. Well, let's keep going.
Another option would be for the Treasury to prioritize payments, choose some bills to pay on time and others to delay. But it's unclear whether this is legal or logistically possible, given the volume of bills the Treasury receives each day. Nor is it clear whether the Treasury could or would pay interest on the national debt before paying everyone else. Any delays in paying interest would endanger the government's credit rating and shake confidence around the world in the ability of the U.S. government to manage its finances. That could lead investors to demand higher interest rates for U.S. Treasury bonds, which would cost American taxpayers billions of dollars over time. Those are the stakes. And as the debt continues to rise, Washington faces a decision. Will it come to an agreement on taxes and spending? Will it actually do something to slow the buildup of debt? Or will the debt ceiling come back into the headlines, and with it, the accompanying fear that the U.S. government won't be able to pay its bills?
And that's what it's coming down to. All right. It says, Isaiah 14, verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, the son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst worketh the nations? So that's what's coming. And like you say, these nations, as when you read in Revelation 17, that they're going to hate the whore. And this is what's coming, and this is what's coming to America. All right. And like I said, Lord willing, we'll be going through and seeing the kingdom shortly because it's coming. Hey, the mom, which is through. America is through. All right. Babylon the Great, it's not gonna be risen up again. How for take bomb for a pain because it's coming. All right. And Jacob's trouble is here and it's gonna only get worse. Okay. It's just like a leak. If you don't stop it, it might get bigger and bigger to completely bust into a big waterfall. And this is what's coming. All right. You're gonna have famine. All right. You're gonna have death. You're gonna have tempest. Draconian law is coming, which is basically what we finna see full blown martial law, and we finna see this right here. No money. That's why they're looking toward digital. But like I said, the Lord is finna come back and bring order to this world, regardless. With that, shalom.